Well, the license of a Chester daycare still in limbo tonight after a toddler wandered off from Fortress of God International.
8 News began digging into this situation in February. Investigator Roland Wilson sitting down with the daycare owner in March. And Roland, you're now learning the state is investigating new details?
Regina, that's right. When I sat down with owner Monique Ed, she told me that she had no plans to close her doors despite repeated violations when we visited the daycare. Last week, we noticed new signage showing the daycare title Serenity Faith Academy. Now left with questions about the sudden switch, we asked the Virginia Department of Education, who tells me they are actively investigating. Same location, different name, and an investigation underway. A sign outside this Chester daycare, previously rating Fortress of God International, now says Serenity Faith Academy. The Virginia Department of Education telling 8 News the department is investigating this matter. The daycare, operating under religious exemption, received attention in February after a 3-year-old was left unsupervised and wandered off into a busy road. In March, owner Monique Ed opened her doors to us, saying she opened the facility 2 years ago to help families in need, even walking us through the February incident.
She had the nerve to ask me, who was in the baby room? I said, how the hell do I know? I had 100-something people in here, and y'all let them come through the door. I done lost track of who was where.
How did the child get out?
Well, nobody realized that he can open 3 doors.
So was that child supervised when he left the facility?
No.
8 News uncovered the facility received dozens of violations from the Department of Social Services prior to this incident, including unsafe or unclean conditions, no protective belts for students, and improper staff-to-student ratios. In April, the Virginia Department of Education issued a final order to revoke the daycare's religious exemption. Days later, inspectors conducted an unannounced visit, finding 8 additional violations. VDOE tells me the facility has appealed their decision. When I asked the owner about these changes, Ed told me in part, "I no longer want to deal with you, and I pray that you're not on my property." Now, a final decision concerning the daycare's license will be made at an upcoming hearing. The facility is allowed to operate during this appeal process. Eric?
All right, Roland, thanks very much.